Hello, beautiful soul. I want you to take a moment right now, wherever you are, and just breathe with me. Let your shoulders drop, soften your jaw, and allow yourself to truly arrive in this moment. You found your way here today, and that tells me something beautiful about you. It tells me that somewhere deep in your heart, you know you're ready for something different. You're ready for a shift, a change, a new way of being in this world. I see you there, perhaps feeling a little weary from carrying so much for so long. Maybe you're sitting with emotions that feel too heavy or thoughts that seem to circle endlessly in your mind. Perhaps you've been holding on to things, old hurts, disappointments, fears about the future, and they've become like stones in your pockets, weighing you down with each step you take. If this feels familiar, you're not alone. So many of us have learned to hold on tightly, thinking that somehow our grip on these experiences will protect us or help us make sense of our lives. But what if I told you that today could be the beginning of something entirely new? What if this very moment could be the start of learning how to open your hands, how to release what no longer serves you, and how to discover the incredible wisdom and peace that lives right inside your own heart? This isn't about pushing away your feelings or pretending that difficult things haven't happened. This is about something far more loving and powerful. It's about learning to honor your experiences while choosing to free yourself from their weight. You see, the power to transform your life doesn't live outside of you. It doesn't live in other people's approval, in perfect circumstances, or in having all the answers. The power to heal, to grow, to create the life you truly want, it lives within you right now. It's been there all along, like a gentle flame that may have been dimmed by life's storms, but has never been extinguished. Today, we're going to tend to that flame together. We're going to learn how to let go of what dims your light and how to connect with the incredible source of love and wisdom that is your true nature. This journey we're taking together isn't about overnight miracles, though miracles certainly can happen. It's about gentle, loving steps toward freedom. It's about learning to trust yourself in a whole new way and discovering that you have everything you need within you to create profound change in your life. So settle in, open your heart, and let's begin this beautiful exploration together. Now let's talk about what it really means to hold on to things. When I speak about holding on, I'm not talking about cherishing beautiful memories or maintaining healthy relationships. I'm talking about that kind of holding on that feels like a closed fist around our hearts, the way we sometimes grip onto pain, resentment, old stories about ourselves, or fears about what might happen tomorrow. Think about how a tree grows. Each season, it naturally releases its leaves, trusting that new growth will come. The tree doesn't hold on to last year's leaves out of fear that it won't be beautiful again in spring. It knows in its very essence that letting go is part of the natural cycle of renewal and growth. Yet as human beings, we often do the opposite. We collect our hurts like pressed flowers in a book, preserving every slight, every disappointment, every moment when life didn't go according to our plans. This holding on can take so many forms. Sometimes it's replaying conversations in our minds, wishing we had said something different, or trying to figure out why someone treated us a certain way. Sometimes it's carrying guilt about choices we made in the past, believing that if we just punish ourselves enough, somehow we can change what already happened. Sometimes it's holding on to worry about the future, playing out every possible scenario of what might go wrong, as if our anxiety could somehow protect us from uncertainty. There's often a part of us that believes holding on serves a purpose. We might think that staying angry keeps us safe from being hurt again. We might believe that worrying shows how much we care. We might feel that holding on to guilt proves we're good people who take responsibility for our actions. But here's what I've learned through my own journey and through working with thousands of people. Holding on like this doesn't actually protect us or prove anything positive about us. Instead, it creates a kind of invisible prison where we replay the past and rehearse our fears about the future, missing the only moment where real life actually happens, right now. The mind has this interesting way of convincing us that if we just think about something enough, analyze it enough, worry about it enough, somehow we'll gain control over it. But life doesn't work that way. Life is much more like a river. It's always flowing, always changing, always moving towards something new. When we try to hold on to experiences, emotions, or even people in a way that stops this natural flow, it's like trying to dam up that river. The pressure builds, the natural beauty of the flow is lost, and eventually something has to give. Sometimes what we're holding on to isn't even our own stuff. We might be carrying our parents' fears, our family's unspoken rules about what's safe or appropriate, our culture's messages about how we should be or what we should want. We can become like beautiful vessels filled with water that isn't even ours, wondering why we feel so heavy and why our true essence feels so far away. The beautiful thing about recognizing what we're holding on to is that recognition itself is the first step toward freedom. When we can look at our patterns with kindness rather than judgment, when we can see our holding on as an understandable response to life's challenges rather than a character flaw, we create the space for something new to emerge. We begin to see that we have choices we didn't know we had before. When we hold on to emotional burdens, our bodies listen. Our cells hear every thought, feel every emotion, and respond accordingly. The tension in your shoulders might be carrying the weight of responsibilities that aren't even yours. The knot in your stomach might be holding on to anxiety about situations that may never happen. The heaviness in your chest might be the accumulated sadness of losses you never fully allowed yourself to grieve. Your body is incredibly wise. It's constantly communicating with you, sending you signals about what feels good and what doesn't, what brings you energy and what drains it. But when we're caught up in the endless loop of holding on, thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same feelings, replaying the same stories, we often lose touch with this natural wisdom. We become disconnected from our own inner guidance system. Consider how different you feel after a good cry versus how you feel when you hold back tears. Think about the relief in your body when you finally speak a truth you've been holding inside, compared to the tension that builds when you keep that truth locked away. Your body knows that emotions are meant to move through you, not to take up permanent residence. The word emotion actually comes from the Latin word meaning to move out. Emotions are energy in motion, and when we stop that motion by holding on, we create stagnation. This stagnation doesn't just affect us emotionally, it affects us physically, mentally, and spiritually. When we're carrying old hurt, our immune system has to work overtime. When we're holding on to worry, our nervous system stays in a state of constant alert, as if we're always preparing for danger. When we're gripping onto control, our muscles tense, our breathing becomes shallow, and our natural state of ease and flow gets replaced by rigidity and effort. But here's what's truly beautiful. Just as your body responds to holding on, it also responds immediately to letting go. The moment you make a decision to release something that's been weighing you down, your body begins to shift, your breathing deepens, your muscles start to relax, your nervous system begins to calm. It's as if your whole being breathes a sigh of relief and says, "Finally, we can move forward." The cost of holding on extends far beyond physical tension. When our energy is tied up in the past or projected into future worries, we miss the richness of what's happening right now. We might sit in a beautiful garden but not see the flowers because we're lost in thought about yesterday's problems. We might be with someone we love but not truly be present because we're mentally rehearsing a difficult conversation we need to have tomorrow. This disconnection from the present moment means we're disconnected from our power. All of our creative energy, all of our ability to make positive changes, all of our capacity for joy and love, it all exists in the now. When we're living in mental time, constantly pulled between past and future, we're living like someone who's trying to drive while looking only in the rearview mirror. We might be moving forward, but we can't see where we're going, and we're likely to miss all the beautiful scenery along the way. Perhaps most significantly, holding on keeps us from connecting with who we truly are beneath all the stories, beneath all the accumulated experiences, beneath all the roles we play. There's a part of you that remains untouched by anything that has ever happened to you, a part that is pure love, pure wisdom, pure creative potential. But when we're identified with our hurts, our fears, our past mistakes, or our worries about the future, we lose touch with this essential self. We forget that we are so much more than anything that has ever happened to us. There's something deeply counterintuitive about letting go that our minds often struggle to understand. We've been taught that love means holding on, that caring means worrying, that being responsible means carrying heavy loads. But true wisdom teaches us something entirely different. True wisdom shows us that the deepest form of love, both for ourselves and others, often looks like opening our hands and allowing life to flow naturally. When we let go, we're not giving up or becoming indifferent. We're not saying that our experiences didn't matter or that we don't care about the people in our lives. Letting go is actually the most courageous form of love there is. It takes tremendous strength to release our death grip on how we think things should be and trust that life itself knows what it's doing. It takes incredible faith to believe that when we stop trying to control every outcome, when we stop holding on to every hurt as evidence of our story, something even more beautiful can emerge. Think about how a mother bird teaches her babies to fly. She doesn't hold on to them out of fear that they might fall. She doesn't keep them in the nest forever because the world might be dangerous. Instead, she gently encourages them to spread their wings, knowing that their ability to soar has been inside them all along. This is what we do when we practice letting go. We honor the flight potential in ourselves and in our lives. The wisdom of letting go recognizes that clinging to anything, whether it's a relationship, an outcome, a version of ourselves, or even a painful experience, actually prevents us from receiving what's trying to come to us. It's like trying to fill a cup that's already full. When our hands are tightly closed around old hurts, there's no room for new joy. When our hearts are wrapped around past disappointments, there's no space for fresh possibilities. When our minds are clutched around worry about tomorrow, we can't receive the gifts that today is offering. Letting go creates what I like to call sacred space, room for miracles to occur, for new insights to emerge, for unexpected blessings to find their way to us. Nature shows us this principle everywhere. The tree that lets go of its leaves in autumn isn't losing something, it's making way for new growth. The ocean doesn't hold on to each wave, it allows the natural rhythm of give and take that creates its endless beauty. The butterfly doesn't cling to its caterpillar form, it surrenders to the mystery of transformation. What we often don't realize is that holding on requires enormous amounts of energy. It's exhausting to maintain our grip on things that want to flow. It's draining to keep our fists clenched around experiences that are asking to be released. When we let go, all of that energy becomes available for creating, for healing, for loving, for living fully in the present moment. Suddenly, we have resources we didn't know we possessed. The process of release also teaches us something profound about our own resilience. every time we let go of something we thought we needed to hold on to for our survival or identity, we discover that we're still here. We're still whole. We're still capable of love and joy and growth. This builds a different kind of confidence, not the brittle confidence that comes from trying to control everything, but the deep, unshakable confidence that comes from knowing we can flow with life rather than fighting against it. Learning to let go is like learning any new skill. It takes practice, patience, and gentleness with ourselves. We don't expect to play piano beautifully on our first day of lessons, and we shouldn't expect to release lifelong patterns of holding on without some tender guidance and repetition. The beautiful thing is that each small act of letting go makes the next one a little easier. Each time we choose release over resistance, we strengthen our capacity for freedom. Now you might be wondering, how do I actually begin this process? How do I start letting go of things I've been carrying for so long? The first step is always awareness. Before we can release anything, we need to clearly see what we're holding on to. This isn't about judgment or criticism. It's about loving observation. It's about becoming curious about your own patterns rather than frustrated with them. One of the most powerful ways to begin this awareness is through gentle questioning. Instead of trying to force yourself to let go, start by simply noticing. What thoughts keep coming back to you throughout the day? What emotions feel familiar, like old friends you've been spending time with for years? What stories do you tell yourself about who you are or how life works? What worries feel like they're on repeat in your mind? You might find it helpful to spend a few quiet minutes each day just observing the landscape of your inner world. Notice without trying to fix or change anything. This kind of loving attention to your own experience is incredibly healing in itself. So often we're rushing through life, barely aware of what we're thinking or feeling. This gentle practice of inner awareness begins to create some space between you and your automatic patterns. Writing can be a beautiful tool for this discovery process. There's something magical that happens when we put pen to paper and allow our thoughts and feelings to flow freely. You might try setting aside 15 minutes each day to write about whatever is on your heart. Don't worry about grammar or making sense or having profound insights. Just let your hand move across the page and see what wants to be expressed. As you write, you might notice certain themes emerging. Perhaps you discover that you're carrying worry about a family member that's been weighing on you for months. Maybe you realize you're still holding on to hurt from a friendship that ended years ago. You might notice that you're gripping tightly to ideas about how your life should look that are causing you stress. This awareness is like turning on a light in a room you've been navigating in the dark. Another powerful practice for beginning release is working with your breath. Your breath is one of the most direct pathways to letting go that you have available to you every moment of every day. When you breathe in, you can consciously choose to draw in peace, love, or whatever quality you most need. When you breathe out, you can consciously choose to release tension, worry, or anything that feels heavy. Try this gentle breathing practice. Place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. As you breathe in slowly through your nose, let your belly expand and feel your heart opening. As you breathe out slowly through your mouth, let your whole body soften and release. You don't need to force anything to happen. Just breathe with intention and notice how your body responds to this loving attention. Creating simple rituals around letting go can also be incredibly helpful. This might look like writing down what you want to release on a piece of paper and then safely burning it, watching the smoke carry your old patterns away. It might look like taking a bath while consciously letting go of the day's stress, feeling the warm water wash away what no longer serves you. It might look like going for a walk in nature and with each step, silently saying goodbye to something you're ready to leave behind. The key with any of these practices is to approach them with gentleness and compassion for yourself. You're not trying to force anything or do it perfectly. You're simply creating opportunities for natural release to occur. Some days it might feel easy and flowing. Other days it might feel more challenging. Both are perfectly normal and part of the process. As you begin to let go of what's been weighing you down, you'll naturally start to discover more space to connect with something incredibly beautiful, the quiet, wise, loving presence that exists at the center of your being. This isn't something you need to create or achieve. It's something that's already there, waiting patiently for you to remember it exists. In our busy, noisy world, we often lose touch with this inner sanctuary. We become so identified with our thoughts, our emotions, our roles, and our responsibilities that we forget there's a deeper place within us that remains peaceful regardless of what's happening in our external circumstances. This inner space is like a still lake beneath the waves of surface activity, always there, always calm, always available. The beautiful thing about connecting with your inner sanctuary is that it doesn't require any special skills or years of training. It simply requires your willingness to turn your attention inward and listen. It requires the courage to pause in the midst of your busy life and ask, what does my heart really want me to know right now? What wisdom is available to me if I just get quiet enough to hear it? Your inner wisdom speaks differently than your thinking mind. Your thinking mind tends to be busy, analytical, often worried or planning or reviewing. Your inner wisdom tends to be quiet, knowing, peaceful. It doesn't shout or demand attention. It simply offers gentle guidance when you're ready to receive it. Learning to distinguish between these two voices is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. One way to begin connecting with your inner sanctuary is through what I call heart listening. Place your hand gently on your heart and take a few deep breaths. Ask your heart a simple question. What do I most need to know right now? Or, how can I best take care of myself today? Then simply listen. Don't try to figure out the answer with your mind. Just listen with your heart and notice what arises. You might receive an image, a feeling, a simple knowing, or even just a sense of peace. Trust whatever comes, even if it doesn't make logical sense right away. Your heart speaks in a different language than your mind, the language of feeling, intuition, and knowing that goes beyond words. Another beautiful way to connect with your inner sanctuary is through mirror work. This practice involves looking into your own eyes in a mirror and speaking to yourself with love and respect. It might feel awkward at first. Many of us are more comfortable criticizing ourselves than loving ourselves when we look in the mirror. But this simple practice can be incredibly powerful for developing a loving relationship with yourself. Start by simply looking into your own eyes and saying, "Hello, beautiful soul." Notice how it feels to offer yourself the same kindness you would offer a dear friend. You might say things like, "I see you. I honor your journey. I believe in your ability to grow and heal." Let yourself experiment with different words and notice what feels most healing and true. As you develop this practice of inner connection, you'll begin to notice that you have access to incredible wisdom about your own life. You'll start to trust your own inner guidance about what choices to make, what relationships to nurture, what dreams to pursue. This doesn't mean you'll never seek advice from others or that you won't sometimes feel uncertain. It means you'll have a reliable inner compass that can help guide you through life's complexities. This inner sanctuary is also your greatest source of comfort during difficult times. When life feels overwhelming, when you're facing challenges that seem too big to handle, you can always return to this quiet place within yourself. Here, you can find the strength to take the next small step, the wisdom to know what really matters, and the love to comfort yourself through whatever you're experiencing. The more you visit this inner sanctuary, the more you'll realize that everything you've been searching for outside yourself, peace, love, wisdom, security, has been available within you all along. This doesn't mean external relationships and experiences aren't important. It means you're no longer dependent on them for your fundamental well-being. You become like a tree with deep roots, able to weather any storm because your foundation is unshakable. Affirmations are like gentle seeds of truth that we plant in the garden of our consciousness. When we speak loving words to ourselves consistently, we begin to cultivate a new inner landscape, one that supports our growth rather than limiting it. The beautiful thing about affirmations is that they work with the natural power of your mind to create positive change, but they need to be used with understanding and heartfelt intention. Many people try affirmations and give up because they don't feel immediate results, or because the words feel empty or even untrue when they first speak them. This is completely normal and understandable. If you've been thinking critical thoughts about yourself for years, if you've been carrying heavy burdens of guilt or fear, then suddenly saying, "I am perfect just as I am," might feel like a lie. Your mind might immediately argue back with all the evidence of why that's not true. But here's what I want you to understand. Affirmations aren't about pretending that everything is perfect or denying your human experience. They're about gently shifting the direction of your thoughts toward what you want to create, rather than staying stuck in what you want to change. They're about speaking to the truth of who you are beneath all the conditioning, beneath all the stories you've been told about yourself. When it comes to letting go, affirmations can be incredibly powerful tools for releasing what no longer serves you. You might begin with simple statements like, "I am willing to let go of what no longer serves me." Notice that this affirmation doesn't demand that you immediately release everything perfectly. It simply states your willingness, and willingness is always enough to begin. As you work with this affirmation, you might notice resistance arising. Part of you might say, "But I don't know how to let go." Or, "But what if I need these thoughts and feelings for protection?" When resistance comes up, don't fight it. Instead, you can modify your affirmation to meet yourself where you are. "I am open to learning how to let go with love and gentleness." Or, "I am willing to consider that holding on might not be serving me." For connecting with your inner wisdom, you might work with affirmations like, "I trust the wisdom that lives within my heart," or "I have access to all the guidance I need." Again, if these feel too big at first, you can start smaller. "I am willing to listen to my inner voice," or "I am learning to trust myself more each day." The key to working with affirmations effectively is to choose words that feel authentic and reachable for you right now. If "I love myself completely" feels too far away, you might start with "I am learning to be kinder to myself," or "I am open to discovering what self-love feels like." The goal is to find statements that create a gentle stretch toward where you want to go without triggering your inner critic. Timing matters when it comes to affirmations. The moments when your mind is most receptive, just upon waking and just before sleep, are particularly powerful times to plant these positive seeds. Your conscious mind is quieter during these times, which means your affirmations can more easily reach the deeper levels of your consciousness where real change occurs. You can also use affirmations as gentle redirects throughout your day. When you notice your mind spinning in worry or self-criticism, you can pause and offer yourself a loving affirmation instead. This isn't about suppressing your feelings or pretending difficult emotions don't exist. It's about giving yourself a choice in how you respond to challenging moments. Writing your affirmations can be just as powerful as speaking them. There's something about the physical act of writing positive words about yourself that helps them sink in more deeply. You might keep a small journal where you write your chosen affirmations each morning, or leave loving notes for yourself in places where you'll discover them throughout the day. Remember that affirmations work best when they're infused with feeling rather than just repeated mechanically. As you speak or write your affirmations, try to connect with the feeling of what those words would be like if they were completely true. Even if you can only touch that feeling for a moment, that moment of emotional connection is what gives your affirmations their power to create real change. Creating supportive daily practices is like building a bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. These practices don't need to be complicated or time-consuming to be effective. In fact, simple practices that you can maintain consistently are far more powerful than elaborate routines that you abandon after a few days. The morning hours offer a precious opportunity to set the tone for your entire day. Instead of immediately reaching for your phone or jumping into the demands of your schedule, consider giving yourself even just 10 minutes to connect with your heart and set positive intentions. This might look like sitting quietly with a cup of tea and asking yourself, "How do I want to feel today?" Or, "What would make today meaningful for me?" A simple morning practice might include taking 5 deep breaths while placing your hand on your heart, speaking one affirmation that feels supportive for the day ahead, and setting an intention to notice one beautiful thing that crosses your path. This takes less than 5 minutes, but can completely shift your energy and perspective for the hours that follow. Throughout your day, you can create small moments of connection and release. Each time you wash your hands, you might use it as an opportunity to symbolically wash away any stress or negativity you've picked up. Each time you walk through a doorway, you might take it as a cue to breathe deeply and release any tension you're carrying in your body. These micro practices help you stay connected to your intention to let go and tune in throughout your day. Evening practices are particularly important for processing the experiences of your day and releasing anything that doesn't need to come with you into your sleep. A simple evening ritual might include writing down 3 things you're grateful for from the day, 1 thing you're ready to let go of, and 1 intention for tomorrow. This helps your mind shift from the busyness of the day into a more peaceful state for rest. Taking a few minutes before bed to do a mental and emotional clearing can dramatically improve both your sleep and your overall well-being. You might visualize your day like a movie and consciously release any interactions or experiences that left you feeling heavy. You can do this by simply saying, "I release this experience with love and choose peace instead." Gratitude deserves special mention as one of the most powerful daily practices for both letting go and connecting within. When we focus on what we appreciate about our lives, we naturally shift our energy away from what's missing or wrong and toward what's abundant and beautiful. Gratitude helps us let go of resentment and scarcity thinking while connecting us with the goodness that's always present, even in challenging times. Your gratitude practice doesn't need to focus only on big, obvious blessings. Sometimes the most transformative gratitude comes from appreciating simple things: the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the comfort of your bed, the fact that your heart is beating steadily in your chest. These small appreciations help train your mind to notice the countless gifts that surround you every moment. Meditation doesn't have to be complicated or require hours of sitting in perfect silence. Even 5 minutes of quiet breathing can help you connect with your inner sanctuary and release the accumulated stress of your day. You might simply sit comfortably, close your eyes, and focus on the sensation of your breath moving in and out of your body. When thoughts arise, and they will, just gently return your attention to your breathing without judging yourself. Movement can also be a powerful daily practice for both release and connection. This might look like gentle stretching while focusing on releasing tension from your body, taking a mindful walk where you pay attention to the sensations of your feet touching the ground, or dancing freely to music that makes you feel alive. Your body holds so much wisdom, and moving with awareness helps you access that wisdom while releasing what's stuck. As you begin to incorporate these practices into your life, it's important to understand that the journey of letting go and connecting within isn't a straight line. There will be days when you feel clear and peaceful, when the practices feel natural and helpful. There will also be days when you feel stirred up, when old patterns feel stronger than your new intentions, when letting go feels impossible. This is not only normal, it's actually a sign that the process is working. When we begin to shift long-held patterns, everything that's been buried often comes to the surface first. It's like cleaning out a closet. Things often look messier before they look organized. Your psyche is wise, and it will only bring up what you're ready to handle, but it might not always feel that way in the moment. When resistance arises, the most important thing you can do is meet it with compassion rather than frustration. Resistance isn't your enemy. It's often a part of you that's trying to protect you based on old programming. Instead of fighting with resistant thoughts or feelings, try getting curious about them. What is this part of you afraid might happen if you let go? What does it think it's protecting you from? Sometimes resistance comes up because you're trying to let go too quickly or too completely. Healing and growth happen in layers, and it's perfectly okay to release things gradually. You might find that you let go of something only to have it come back up again later. This doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It might just mean there's another layer ready to be released, or that you're ready to understand the experience from a deeper level. There will also be times when you feel like you're going backward, when old patterns feel stronger than ever. During these times, it's helpful to remember that growth isn't always linear. Sometimes we need to revisit old territories with new awareness before we can fully move beyond them. These seemingly backward steps often contain important insights and can actually accelerate your overall progress. Building a support system for your journey is incredibly important. This might include friends or family members who understand and support your growth, a therapist or counselor who can offer professional guidance, or a spiritual community where you feel understood and accepted. It might also include books, recordings, or other resources that remind you of your truth when you're feeling lost or discouraged. Don't underestimate the power of celebrating small victories along the way. Each time you choose to respond differently to a trigger, each time you speak to yourself with kindness instead of criticism, each time you release a worry instead of ruminating on it, these are significant accomplishments worthy of acknowledgement. Celebrating these small shifts helps build momentum and reminds you that change is not only possible, but already happening. Remember that setbacks are not failures, they're opportunities for deeper learning and stronger commitment to your path. Each time you notice yourself falling back into old patterns and consciously choose something different, you're strengthening your capacity for conscious choice. You're proving to yourself that you have power over your responses, even when you can't control your circumstances. It's also important to pace yourself on this journey. Transformation takes time, and trying to rush the process often creates more pressure and resistance. Trust that every small step you take is meaningful, even when you can't see the bigger picture yet. Trust that your willingness to grow and heal is already creating positive changes, even when those changes aren't immediately visible. As we come to the end of our time together today, I want you to take a moment to feel into everything we've explored. Notice how it feels in your body right now to consider the possibility of living with less burden, more freedom, and deeper connection to your own inner wisdom. Even if this feels like a distant dream, even if part of you doesn't quite believe it's possible yet, just notice what it would feel like if it were true. You have everything within you right now to begin this journey of letting go and connecting within. You don't need to wait for perfect circumstances or until you feel completely ready. You don't need special training or years of preparation. You simply need your willingness to take the next small step, to treat yourself with kindness, and to trust that your life wants to unfold in beautiful ways. The power that created you, the same intelligence that grows flowers and moves planets and beats your heart without your conscious effort, is always available to support your healing and growth. This power doesn't live outside of you, it is you. It's the deepest truth of who you are beneath all the stories, beneath all the accumulated experiences, beneath all the roles you play. Your willingness to let go of what no longer serves you is an act of profound love, love for yourself, love for your life, and love for everyone whose life you touch. When you free yourself from old burdens, you give others permission to do the same. When you connect with your inner wisdom, you inspire others to trust their own knowing. Your healing creates ripples of healing that extend far beyond what you can see. I want to leave you with this truth. You are so much more powerful than you know, so much more resilient than you've been told, and so much more loved than you may have ever allowed yourself to believe. The journey of letting go and connecting within isn't just about feeling better, though you will feel better. It's about remembering who you truly are and living from that place of authentic power and love. Take this journey one breath at a time, one choice at a time, one day at a time. Be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself, and remember that every step you take toward freedom is a gift not only to yourself, but to the world that needs your unique light to shine brightly. You are ready for this. You have always been ready, and I believe in you completely.